1.2 million dogs are euthanized every year. A huge contributor to this is dog breed restrictions and legislation imposed on so-called and deemed aggressive dog breeds. During this speech, I would like to tell you why there should be no such thing as dog breeds, restrictions, and legislation against particular breeds. The majority of people with aggressive breeds have a loving and caring dog that only wants love and attention and to give back love and attention to their owners. I grew up with a very common aggressive dog, the Presa Canaria Mastiff named Lola. She was 130 pounds of love and attention seeking. She was more of a lap dog than my current Chihuahua. She was by far the best family dog I have ever owned, and I have had multiple labs, boxers, Australian Shepherd, and a Chihuahua. Many know of the popular dog breeds on many of these lists. Pit bulls, chows, Dobermans, Rottweilers being the common ones, but many don't know how extensive these lists can get. Siberian Huskies and German Shepherds are some pretty common aggressive dogs on breed restriction lists, and many would stand by their lack of aggression and how good of a family dog that they can be. These lists don't just hurt the dogs, they hurt the families as well. The social stigma of having an aggressive dog hurts the family, and growing up, I had a very hard time having friends over because their parents knew that we owned Lola. Even though Lola never had an aggressive incident of any sort, they just saw her and automatically assumed that she was a vicious guard dog, when she was the exact opposite. Another hindrance to the families is finding a place to live. The residential restrictions on apartments and renting a house are very strict on what type of dogs you can own. And it, even in some cases, will go to county and city legislation of not being able to own the dog at all. Rather, you own the house or not. Traveling is also pretty difficult with these dogs. Lola, being 130 pounds, was impossible, nearly impossible to travel with, especially on planes. So we would have to kennel her and board her in a dog hotel. Many dog hotels would not take her because of her aggressive nature, so they believed. The American Society for the Prevention of Animal Cruelty and the American Kennel Society both have very strong stances on this, and the stance being that there is no need for any type of ban or restriction on any dog breed. This mindset goes far beyond societies and activist groups and goes into the science profession. In Psychology Today, Dr. Jessica Pierce, a psychologist who has authored multiple books on dog breeds and wildlife aggression, agrees and backs up that dog aggression comes from three places and clearly does not come from one place. The three that it comes from is pain, fear, and lack of basic obedience training. And the one place that it does not come from is genetics. She goes to prove that it does not come from any type of inherent instinct, genetic, DNA mindset that was preconceived in this animal. She also brings up that a study done by the University of Leicester that disagreeable people tend to have disagreeable dogs. That furthers this negative stigma around these animals, that a normal person will look and see, oh, that person is not a normal, what I would consider a role model for society, and they own a aggressive looking dog. That just makes it even more harder on these people. In the Smithsonian Magazine, Miss Rose Eveleth writes about a study done by the University of Bristol. This study concluded that in simple obedience training can cut down the likelihood of having a aggressive incident by half. And more importantly, families who used punishment or negative reinforcement round up twice as likely with a dog that would show aggressive tendencies. That showing again that it is about the upbringing of the animal. Of the 1.2 million dogs that are euthanized every year, 40% of them are pit bulls. Pit bulls, Rottweilers, Boxers, and Dobermans are the most commonly restricted dog breeds. All of these dog breeds rank in the top 12 for the least temperament on the dog breed temperament scales. Pit bulls are only second to labs. And like I said, there are many people, most people that have aggressive dogs, have loving, caring dogs. Ben Moore writes, he's a writer on a animal activist website. He rescued a pit bull and named it Gray Brush, a very interesting name, but a very amazing dog that had a very rough upbringing and did show aggressive tendencies. But with obedience training and positive reinforcement, Gray Brush is now a emotional support dog. Also, my best friends have another pit bull rescue named Macy. She is just as sweet and kind as Lola and my Chihuahua. We always joke that Macy is the big Chihuahua. She only wants to cuddle. That is the only thing she ever wants to do. She never really feared humans as much as she feared other dogs. Macy, being a rescue too, had a rough upbringing and struggled for years with being around new dogs. But now she lives with 2 other dogs, and I trust my 2 dogs, my Australian Shepherd and my Chihuahua, around Macy any day. And Macy frequents dog parks and walks in dog beaches with all of my friends' dogs. There are many different reasons that can end up causing a dog to have aggressive tendencies. And the research is overwhelming that genetics is not one of them. Legislation and social stigma are the 2 biggest reasons that plague these animals. I hope a more knowledgeable mindset will prevail and social stigmas will help end these restrictions so that owning so-called aggressive dog breeds can be a thing of the past. Thank you, and I hope that this has been informative.